Today joining me is Don Jacobson. A lot of you know him from Cleveland Aluminum or Cleveland Exteriors. He's a good friend of mine. His company does a good job, and I'm going to enjoy the discussion today as well as you are. Has it been a rough week for you as well as me?
It's not been too bad. It's gone pretty fast, actually. My son's been out on vacation, so I've got to run estimates all week, so I stayed so busy I didn't know which end was to go on.
Do you find that you do estimates better if you get to the office and really look into it, or is your estimate closer at the red light?
Closer at the red light.
That's the way mine is.
I make my decision on when I get to the driveway on how to sell. I mean, people tell you what they want. If they're calling you for siding, windows, roofing, whatever, you know what they want. You just got to go in there and let them know what's available.
On the Courthouse Square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland-Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
So y'all do siding too?
Siding and windows are our biggest products.
But not aluminum siding like it
No,
used to
that was back in the 70s when James Satterfield started that business in 74. It was all aluminum siding and windows. That's why it was called Cleveland Aluminum. But, since then everything has transitioned into vinyl.
Yeah.
And now we've, had to go to the Cleveland Aluminum and Exteriors for the younger generation to understand, we do exterior products.
So y'all do vinyl siding on new construction too?
Vinyl siding, and the new thing out is composite siding. It's like composite decking. That stuff is nice.
That
really
what I refer to as the smart siding, or
no, it's a fiberglass composite. It looks just like fiber cement board.
Yeah.
But it's through colored and it's fiberglass.
Yeah.
You don't have the expansion contraction. You
remember
got
the color lock siding they had for a long time? It's similar to that, isn't it?
It's more the resemblance of the Duraplank. Do you remember Duraplank?
Yeah.
It come out for a little while,
right?
And then it
very
went away.
short while.
Yeah.
And when you saw it, it really kicks up the dust.
This don't.
Is that right?
Use a side grinder and a cut-off wheel, and it just cuts like butter.
You have to put an expansion joint between them?
No. You don't have to do nothing like that.
Because that color lock you did.
Yeah.
So basically it's a cement board.
No, it's a fiberglass composite. It has no cement in it. Goes up just like vinyl does. Gives you the look of that wide board fiber cement board look without the headache. It's a little less expensive in the long run. Probably about $100 a square.
Do they have corner boards in it?
Well, you can run straight vinyl corner boards, or you can run,
Do they make corner boards for it?
You can order them, yeah. Most people don't. They just run the standard vinyl J-channel and vinyl corner and run the composite siding.
So that way you don't get the expansion and contraction, but you get the clean look of a vinyl corner, I guess, right?
Yeah.
What about soffits?
That's everything's still saying vinyl. Yeah. We got a lot of that black soffit going out now.
Is that right? I wonder why black so in. Because craftsman look or something?
That's what people want. We sell probably 30% of the jobs that go out run black soffit now.
In the past, 5 years, 6 years?
Probably the last 3 years. But boy, if you lay that stuff in the sun, it's rolled up. It's gone.
I bet.
You got to watch. We had one crew over here in Dayton putting it on, and he called me up and he says, "Man, I can't keep this stuff in the soffit. the sun was hitting the flashing off the roof and shining up onto the soffit,
Yep.
and it was actually warping it and melting it, and it was falling out of the soffit.
What did he end up doing?
He ended up spray painting that flashing black just to stop that shine.
I bet that did it, didn't it?
It helped it a lot.
Do you remember the Zipperly? Were you around when the Zipperleys were in? Owen Zipper?
Yeah.
Owen Zipper?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
was it that his last name was Zipperer, right?
Owen Zipper, yeah.
Owen Zipper. Is he still around? What? I
No.
think he might have died.
He died. His brother passed.
What was his brother's name?
Couldn't tell you. I got Alex Satterfield and Larry Ivy both worked directly for me.
Oh, yeah, I remember Larry. He's done that forever.
Yeah. Alex, now his dad was the one that started the business I bought.
I
Alex.
believe that I remember using Alex.
Yeah, he's
was
taught
fair-
majority of the people in Cleveland how to run side.
He was fairly tall and kind of gray-headed.
No,
Put in storm
no.
doors, too.
Yeah, we did a lot of storm doors.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex, he's probably 5'7".
Whatever happened to Owen? Owen was, I really liked him.
Got messed up in
Drugs.
things he shouldn't got into.
Didn't he get, well, I guess we better not talk about that.
Yeah, he did get in some trouble.
And his brother, they were hard workers, man.
Yeah, they were in a lot of side back in the day.
A lot. And they had another guy worked for him, and I want to say his name was Bob.
Bob, I know Bob Swaggart.
Bob Swagger, yeah, I liked him too. He was
Bob's still
he was
around
cut from
now.
a good.
He
He wrote,
don't hang no more, but he's still at Benton.
I think his wife worked somewhere in Benton at the police station or something. Because I got a speeding ticket one day and she got rid of it for me back in the day.
Right.
Bob Swagger, I hadn't thought about him in years.
Yeah.
Or the Zipperleys. They lived on Galt Street.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he had all those dogs,
Yep.
and then he moved over off of close to King Edward, maybe. Or
That's
was
where
that
he
his
was-
brother?
Yeah, no, that's his brother.
Was he still alive?
I think the brother is, but I know Owen
Can't
passed.
think of his name, the brother's name. I remember Owen.
They were getting out just as I was really getting into that business.
I never will forget. We got on a job one time, and him and the painter got into it, pretty hot and heavy. And Owen called me that night and said, "Hey," he said, "I'm going to walk up to that painter tomorrow, toe to toe, and I'm going to say, 'What's up?'" That's all he said. I said, "Well, Owen, that'll be good." I said, "Just walk up to him and say, 'What's up?'" He was
Whatever
real
come out of
good. He
that.
was a real good-natured guy. I forget what the argument was, but these jobs, behind the scenes, people would have no clue, would they?
No,
No clue.
no, they have no experience in none of that stuff.
They would be. I don't think they would be scared to death. They would be relieved if they knew behind the scenes how everybody tried so hard to do everything.
They would. I mean, most of them try to do a good job. You got some out there chucking trucks, but majority of them, they just
even
try
then-
to make an honest living.
Even them think that they're doing that. They're trying. They may
Yeah.
not do a perfect job, but they think they are.
Right.
So it's, they're trying.
Yeah, it's
Did you come from Chattanooga?
no. I grew up in Northeast Ohio. Moved here in '89.
What in the world brought you? What was in Ohio?
We had a big dairy farm up
What was
there.
Northeast Ohio? What was that?
Ashtabula, up right next to Lake Erie.
I went to Ohio one time for Arnold Schwarzenegger thing. Some kind of I forget what part of Ohio it was. But
Now I moved down here. Dad was a big wheel at Olin. He got transferred down here.
is that so? That's
Yeah,
how.
so
So
he
how
could-
old were you then?
Well, he moved down here in '86, and I didn't move down here till '89. And then I went to work at Duracell for several years, and then I left there and bought this business.
What possessed you to do that? Because that's a change, isn't it?
It was Duracell was when Procter and Gamble bought Duracell out, and they come in and told us die makers nobody ever left the tool and die department. We were making good money, and they come in and said they were going to cut 6 people out of the die shop and put it out as mechanics because Procter and Gamble wanted to sub everything out. And that's like telling a doctor he's going to go out and be an LPN.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's probably not going to work too well for me. So I was talking with James. I did side jobs on the side for him, putting up storm doors and doing small stuff, making a little extra change. You know how when you're young with kids, you do that. And he said, well, why don't you come, look at my business and we'll see if we can work something out. And I did it, and on a whim, I stepped out there and done it, and it just...
Did it cost a lot?
Cost quite a bit, but it's been a blessing to me.
Was it cost the most of the materials he had in stock, or was he buying
just
some
the
Blue
name.
Sky?
Just the name.
Did you
He
feel
didn't stock anything when he had it.
Did you feel pretty good about the purchase? Was it like $1 million or 20,000?
No, it wasn't $1 million, but it was enough to make a man nervous,
Yeah.
But I stepped out there and did it, and then we got into wholesaling the vinyl, and it's just one thing's led to another where, we got into the vinyl, we got into the windows. Of course, we've always done the screen rooms and storm doors and the windows, and, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You just keep growing with the city. The city's growing, so you grow with it.
Did you buy his building?
I bought his building. I bought it about 3 years after I bought the business from him. I leased the building from him, and then he sold me the building. I wanted to stay on the front line. I feel like a business has got to be out on the front line if it's going to, especially if you got a storefront.
You got to have a storefront in our business.
Yeah, I do believe. Yep.
Do you think, so when you say you sell wholesale, so somebody can just go to you and buy vinyl siding or whatever? You got a supplier for that?
We got 3 warehouses full of siding and windows down there.
Golly.
And then we got one whole warehouse, ain't nothing but screen rooms and windows,
It seems like screens would be enough to keep a guy busy.
Not really.
Because Satterfield, that's really kind of what his main thing was, if I remember. I'd call him about
We built a ton of screens and a ton of storm windows through the 70s and 80s he did. And we still build screens, but they've kind of gone to the wayside. The new windows are all vinyl, and they come with screens.
You just raise the window. Then you got a screen porch, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Pretty much, and people they'll bring in and have us rescreen, but people today don't open their windows.
That's an odd thing, isn't it? That they don't
back
do
in
that.
the day, everybody had their windows open and let air in, but you don't. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with allergies.
I remember when the Clampett shoot, once a year, Granny would open all the windows and all the doors and take the rugs outside and let all the fresh air in. It was a spring, what they call spring cleaning. But they don't do that anymore.
Nope. Most of them don't clean.
I'll bet you that 90% of the houses in Bradley County don't have screens on.
You're right. You're probably right.
They just don't even have.
You'd be surprised how many of them go to sell them and they have to come to us and need a whole house of screens.
Oh yeah, because that's some kind of a.
Some of them loan companies.
Wonder why they require that. It seems like they worry about something else besides screens.
Just probably old school.
And then it's hard to retrofit a screen, probably, isn't it?
It is, because every window manufacturer is like trying to put a Ford fender on a Chrysler. It just ain't fit right.
It just ain't fit right, no matter what you can. And a screen's got to fit loose to fit in there.
It's got to fit loose, but it's got to fit tight enough and don't let the bugs in. So you got to.
God, that's so complicated.
I don't like measuring. Now, we don't even go out and measure screens anymore. You got to find you an old one or take you a piece of cardboard and fit you a screen and bring it in. We'll measure it and build you one. You can try it and see if it works.
You almost have to factor in doing it twice. Because it's probably not going to fit. They're going to measure it wrong or cut.
Pretty much. It's
the
just like
wrong.
replacing glass in these windows. You go out there and tear them apart and measure that glass, but a lot of times them glass packs, when you order them from the glass companies, don't come in right either.
They'll come in smoked already. Or the
Yeah.
grid's crooked.
Yeah.
The interior
Or they don't
grid's on.
they don't line the glass up so it don't fit in the hole. And I got to where I won't even repair windows. We just replace them.
You know, I've noticed a lot of these vinyl windows now, they'll come with the corners are a little bit higher than the bar that goes across that turns your latch. So if you look real close, it's a little crooked, but you just don't look real close on a vinyl window. That's all you can do.
Most of the time, if you don't bring it to the consumer's attention, they never notice it.
Well, it depends on how you're looking at it too, or how you shut the window, because they got to have some play.
It's a moving part, so it has to.
Yeah. Well, it's a complicated business, isn't it?
It can be at times.
What's the what do you think is the best part of your business?
Probably the window and siding business.
More so than screens?
Oh yeah,
If you had
screen
to
rooms and glass rooms is kind of a little side gig. I shouldn't say side gig. We do a lot of them. Probably do 3 or 4 screen rooms a week. I mean, it's glass rooms. You know, they're not as popular as they used to be because they're so expensive.
Yeah.
You start doing a whole room of glass, you're talking money.
Yeah.
And then, but siding, we sell a whole lot of siding to contractors. We do a lot of remodel siding, a lot of remodel windows.
And you have subs that can go out and do it.
Yeah.
You just sub it out, I guess.
No, well, Alex and Larry, Alex Satterfield, which is the previous owner's son, he still works with me. And Larry Ivy, he's another one that works with me. And then Ronnie Lester, he's been there. I bought it in 03, so I've been there 21 years. I think he's got like 26 years in now.
Is that the one that came out and did my job?
No, that was Ken.
Ken. Boy, he did a great job.
I picked him up, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and he's proved himself to be a screen master.
Boy, he is he's organized. Even his
every movie he
that
makes
trailer
counts.
he had was organized. You could tell it was all. He already knew what he was going to do before he got. He didn't look like he was moving fast, but before I turned around, it's done.
Yep, that's Ken.
He's been trained.
Well, he's done it for probably 50 years.
He was well-natured guy too.
Yes.
I noticed.
He's easy going. He never gets wound up. He's just one of them you just can't wind up.
Where was he from?
Florida.
What
What part
him?
of Florida, I don't know.
Wonder what brought him here.
Halfback, I guess.
He had some lady helping him. She helped him.
Must have been his
I
girlfriend.
guess, yeah.
She'll come out on a job once in a while, help him out, hand him stuff.
Yeah, she was there. When you left Duracell, was you nervous?
Oh gosh, yes.
How old
I
were
was
you?
36.
Have you ever
35.
noticed people around 36 will change careers around 36 years old, or have some kind of a change of some sort?
I don't know. Most everybody, about all the people I worked with at Duracell that I still know, they've moved off on their own and doing different stuff. A lot of them went to the construction field.
Well, a guy that's doing tool and die is in construction. It's the same sort of
but
thing.
you're doing it out of metal.
Yeah, doing handwork.
Right.
They don't really like to be confined.
That's true. That was one of the biggest drawbacks of a factory. You're in that block building 8 to 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, no light.
I worked in a factory for about 6 months. I didn't like the factory, and I didn't like the people in the factory. I didn't like anything about it.
Really?
Couldn't stand it.
It wasn't bad.
I built a house for a guy that was some kind of a bigwig over there. I can't remember his name. I built his house over in Hickory Hills. I can't think of his name. I bet he was there when you were there.
Probably.
I can't think of his name to save my life.
Disney?
Nope.
I don't know. A lot of the guys I worked with over there are gone now.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole different place. I noticed they got a new parking lot over there and the whole...
When they got bought out, I mean, every time companies change, they change management, and management has different ideas. And, we'd see it in the die shop. You get an engineer, and we'd work something out and get it running right, and a new engineer comes in, and he wants to reconfigure the box. And we tell him, that don't work. We've tried that. And next thing you know, we're doing it again. But
That's like in construction. There's so many things that are standard sizes, and people try to change it, and there's a reason why there's a standard size. There's a reason. I don't know what it is, but there's a reason.
yeah,
It's like 2x4s come 8 foot, because most people's houses are 8 foot.
you'd be surprised how many people want me to do something in odd measurements. I tell them, we can do that. You're just wasting material.
Yeah, it's because that's not standard.
Right.
And there's a reason why it's not standard. Boy, if you get off of the standard, it doubles the price, doesn't it?
It does. If you don't, that's why I build spec homes, and they're just easier.
You used to build them to sell.
Yeah.
Always wondered if it'd be better off just to build them to rent and not
I
sell
built a
them.
bunch of them. I just finished my duplexes this last week. I set a duplex.
Where are they at?
They're off 16th Street down off King Edwards.
I bought 2 lots over there. I was supposed to be buying them on Blythe.
Blythe. Those are the ones that old Jones had.
No, it's the ones that Vinings. Vinings is his name.
I don't know him. I'm all the time looking for lots over there.
Me
to build
too.
them.
If I had time, I'd just look for lots. Boy, I like it over there. I've got about 5 little houses over there, knock on wood. They don't move out. If they move out, their brother moves in. I mean, there's just no problem.
Well, that area's cleaned up a lot. Everybody thinks, oh, that's the south side town, it's trouble. But
Oh, I don't worry. I had never had nothing stolen, never had nothing broke in. Only biggest problem I got is an old tree is sometimes in the way.
well, I've cut every tree on my properties down.
So I can't think of where those duplexes are, why I haven't seen
Well,
them.
they're on the, between King Edwards and Blythe on 16th. I had some long lots there. I cut them in half. And they wouldn't let me put 3 houses in there because it's an alley.
That's what I've got, yeah.
So I put a duplex, and they made me put a 20-foot right-of-way back to it, and I still use the alley, and then I still got room to put one more house right there.
I don't never like to crowd it. I just think crowding it has a future negative effect.
Yeah.
Not enough parking for people. You build 2-bedroom duplex?
These here are 3-bedroom, 2 baths. I've got several 2-bedroom, 1 baths. I think the 2-bedroom, 1 baths rent easier than the 3 bedrooms. You get more out of the 3s, but
They're more transit, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get to be where I could build the smallest house I could, and finally I built one that was 19 by 19.
Well, why'd you go 19 if the standard measurements are
Because I had a
enforced?
setback, and I hate to get I hate to get variances. To me, it's another thing. There's a setback for a reason. So why ask them if I can shoot myself? Because you really need 10 feet on a property line.
You did.
Because the heat and air is 4 or 5 feet, and if you can't get a bobcat through there, what's the point? Or a 5-foot mower,
Yeah.
and you can't get drainage.
Well, some of them lots you got to get a variance on, or you clearly can't build back in them.
Well, this one's 49 feet. These are 49 feet each.
There's one down there off of Chippewa right now. I think it's 39 feet. And you'd have to put, I think, a 16-foot house is all you could put in it. You put a 16-foot wide and
Is it for
40
sale?
foot long. Well, the person that owned it passed, and there's 2 sisters and a brother, and they're in a big family feud. And the sister said she won't sell unless this. And
Yeah.
so, the cities, they asked me to try to buy it because, thinking maybe somebody from the outside went in and talked to them. But she said she'd never sell as long as she's alive. She don't want her sister to have no money. I mean, it's just sad, but there's a lot of that.
And a lot of those over there the lots are so old that they've got descendants. Somebody's died.
Well, I've got one right now over there I'm trying to get, but the problem is the man passed. Both his children are in prison in Florida, and he's got a sister here, but they can't really get into probate without going through the prisons, and it's just a nightmare. And there's one on the corner of Blythe and 16th down there that's got 17 errors. I had it down at Travis Henry's office, had it bought, I thought, through the niece. She was supposed to be in control of it. He handed it back to me and said, I'm not chasing all these people all across the country. When they find out they might have a small piece of a house, they want money. That's all they see. He says,
You know, I bought one like that one time at a tax sale. And I thought that when you bought it at a tax, it wasn't a tax sale, it was from the county. And I thought when you bought it from the county that it was clear of any liens.
that should be.
It should be. It should not.
They need to change that
They
law.
need to change that because you can, I mean, it wasn't a cheap lot either. And I bought it and I found out that there was an heir that was in prison that might have a claim. And I'd already built the house on it. And I couldn't get title insurance. So I went to the prison and gave him some money and he signed the deed over.
Really?
Yeah.
So, why
Because
is
I told him, I said, you can't prove you own it, and I can't prove you don't. So we're both stuck.
right?
So
There's some more down in Chippewa that way too in a big tax sale deal.
I've got two houses on Chippewa, and I just soon live there as anywhere.
Yeah. There's no problem over there at
There's
all.
no problem at all.
It's cleaned up a lot.
You know, that must have at one time been a pretty nice neighborhood because the roads are really wide. They're like 24-foot wide roads with
Now they
sidewalks.
started putting all them sidewalks in
Yeah.
down there too and repaving and stuff. The
Yeah.
city's working on it.
But they build these big houses when people don't have anywhere to park. I don't understand that thinking. I mean, why build a house too big to park your car? I mean, how does that make sense?
Well, lots are only 50 foot wide, so I mean, if you build a 1,200 square foot house, you're
Don't
not
build
going
a
to have a
1,200
lot of
square
room.
foot house. It won't fit.
That's what I've been getting in down there.
It won't fit. It'll fit, but you just can't park.
Yeah, you have to
And
park
people-
behind each other.
Yeah, and once they do that for a while, they'll move out.
Yeah.
So I just build the small houses and let it go. And
So I've kind of set myself on the 1,200 square foot due to the fact is that a family can be there.
you know
with
what
3
the average
bedrooms.
size of a house is over the recorded time?
I say about 950.
1,650 square feet. If you average all the
Oh, averaging all.
all the time, you know.
Yeah, I thought
thousands
you
of-
meant what an average house is.
No, but I mean average house been what it's built, and the size, the bigger and the smaller, and you know we all went through the 90s where there's building these 5,000. So and 1,650 square feet gets you 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, a hall, and a dining room and a kitchen and closet.
And a dining room ain't used anymore, hardly.
Not used anymore, and I think that's what brings it down to your 1,200 square feet.
Yeah. I'd like to build a little bit bigger, but there's, like I said, there's only so much room down there.
Yeah.
But, you also got to put it in a price range where your common person can buy them.
I don't know how the common person anymore.
Back when you built houses, when you started in '88, I bought my first house down there. I can't think of the subdivision. Eddie Botts did the subdivision right there by
Oh,
the
South
jail.
Fork.
South
South Fork subdivision. That's a good subdivision.
52.9.
Where did you live?
Down in the cul-de-sac on the far end.
I built a house on the far end on the left.
On the left, okay.
On the left.
And, 52.9, that was a huge number, back when you made $9-10 an hour.
Well, the lots were $5,900.
Right. You could afford to develop then. It's hard to develop now. That's a whole nother.
I bet that's
Discussion.
still a good subdivision.
They're redoing it now. We've been in there and put vinyl on several of them, replaced the windows in several of them.
Was that about the early 90s? That was probably
It
the
was
early
early
90s.
90s. 90,
Do you ever see anybody anymore?
probably about 90. No, I've not seen him in years.
I talked to him about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
He's still on Eureka?
Nope.
What's he doing now?
Riceville.
He's up in Riceville.
Riceville.
Did he sell that piece on Eureka?
Still
yet?
for sale.
Well, that's a pretty piece.
That's a pretty place, isn't it? I wouldn't want to show that to my wife. She'd want to buy it, wouldn't she?
It's a pretty piece. I just bought a nice piece up in Polk County, up right in Benton city limits, 54 acres.
Whereabouts?
Right off of Etowah Road, right behind Benton Shooter Supply. It's already cleared. It's planted in beans.
How do you get there? You have to go past.
As soon as you get to
past the courthouse?
314, you go past courthouse. When you get to the stop sign, turn left on Etowah Road. It's up there about maybe a quarter mile on the left.
All right,
And
start
that, or
over.
you can go down to Patty Road and go in it that
Patty
way.
Road, yeah.
You can
Well, I
go-
like it out
It's part
there,
of that
don't you?
Hatcher farm.
Oh, yeah.
You get up on that knoll and you see that whole ridge.
The whole ridge, both sides.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Patty is a community.
I
It
didn't
used
know
to be a
that.
community, yeah. Patty, there's a Patty Church of Christ, Patty Bridge. That's the Patty community. And if you go further, you go into what they call Linsdale.
Yep. I don't know much about Polk County. That was really my first venture up there, but I figured Cleveland's growing. It's going to go that way.
Well, I built that Ocoee Regional Health Corporation building, and since they've widened that road, you wouldn't believe the traffic that's on there now. It's more than you'd realize if you hadn't been up there in a while.
64 highway has got a huge amount of traffic.
I hadn't been on that much. I usually go
There
down.
used to be back in, I had a survey done back. I had to have a survey done for when I was selling these Carolina carports on the road traffic. And there was 45,000 cars a day went up and down 64, and that was back in
One side, or that was 22 and 22?
Right, but that was back in probably 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And I'll say it's twice as busy today, practically.
Where are they going? Answer that question.
Well, you got to think that, and I wish the city would do something with the center of 64. The fact is, that's really the gateway to the southern Appalachian Mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody coming from Nashville, out west, Birmingham, Alabama, Mississippi, they're going to come up and they're going to hit 64 going up to 411 or going up into the mountains.
They're not going any further on APD 40. They're going.
Yep, and that is the best way to show Cleveland off, is to have some nice, landscaping on them roads. Either have them, do something with them.
Hey, if you want to see something busy, be at Calfee's about 6:30 in the morning.
I know it. I'm there every morning.
God, what time do you get there?
I get there about 6:37.
What do you get?
4 eggs and sausage every morning.
What do you mean? What do you mean 4 eggs sausage?
I don't get no biscuit. I just get the sausage with the egg patties and the biscuit or
What do you mean-
sausage.
What do you mean egg patties?
The egg that they put on their biscuits.
You don't get the biscuit?
I don't like biscuits.
Don't like biscuits at all?
Well, in once in a while, but not really.
Well, they got good biscuits. So you get 4.
Grandkids like them.
You get 4 eggs.
4 pieces of egg and a piece of sausage.
What do they put it in?
Just styrofoam thing, and take it back to the shop, and
Eat it with a plastic fork.
yep, a little salt and pepper, and I'm good to go.
They have to go trays like that.
Yeah,
I always just get
the same thing they put their biscuits and gravy in.
I always just get a sausage biscuit. Boy, that place is busy, isn't it?
Yeah, they do a lot of business.
Have they always been that way for a long time? I
Ever
remember
since I've been out there.
John Paul used to go there every morning. He liked their coffee, but I can't stand their coffee.
Really?
It tastes like grainies.
Nah, ever since I've been out
You
there.
ever eat there at lunch? Bologna sandwich? Boy, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, fried bologna's better.
I just get the regular bologna, no fried. With I say extra mustard. I say when you think you got enough mustard, add some more.
Yeah, it's
Is there I don't know if their gas is high or not.
it's
but
a little bit high.
by the time I get my gas
Right.
pumped, I've already got my biscuit and I'm in the car. It's
Right.
that quick.
Right.
But 6:30 is busy.
So everybody headed to work.
What kind of is it? Sausage patty?
Yeah.
It's good too, isn't it?
Yeah, they got good bacon too.
I had never tried their
Their
bacon.
bacon's real good. Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have more seats outside. They only got those 2 picnic
Most people
tables.
grab it and run, and they're on their way to work. A lot of contractors stop by there and get their breakfast. People going to Maytag, all downtown.
I eat sometimes in there at that little counter they got in there.
I never have. Old Ben Moore used to eat there all the time.
Oh yeah, he'd park in that parking spot and wouldn't get out of the way.
Yep. Because he was asleep half the time. I liked old Ben.
He didn't live far from there.
No, he lived down Kyle Lake Road.
I went down there and saw him when he was real sick, and he said, "What the hell are you doing here?" That was, why not? I mean, I'm there to see him, to say hi, and he asked me what the hell I'm doing there.
Yep, that's Ben. Funny story, Ben bought that where Aiken's gas is.
Yeah.
At auction.
Yeah.
And there was a little 2-acre piece right behind my shop that I wanted. But
on the left.
And I'd never been to an auction, so when it sold, old Sanders says sold, and I was like, heck fire, I never even bid on that thing yet. Mm-hmm. And Ben ended up getting it. John had bought it and then sold it to Ben, but I asked Ben about buying that little 2-acre piece, and he looked up one day, he was up at Kelfy's, and he had gravy running down his shirt, and he says, son, I got a better chance of buying everything you got than you'll ever be able to buy anything of mine. He was grumpy.
Why do that? Why
but you know, after
way?
he had that, was it a stroke or a heart attack?
Yeah.
He was different to me after that. He was always nice. He'd come down there sometimes and shoot the bull with me.
But he still wouldn't sell it to you. He wouldn't sell nothing.
He was in the business to buy property, not sell it. I understand his point more now than I did then.
Mm-hmm. I saw him at the gas station one time. I said, Ben, would you give all your money for my age? He said, where'd I sign up? I mean, he didn't miss a beat in telling me that answer.
Well, he pushed hard with old Corker to try to get that quarter K through, too.
Oh, yeah.
He tried hard to get that in there. Because I think that's why he bought that property. Is he had one time said he was thinking about a truck stop there.
He could foresee stuff.
Yes, he was very
Trends. He was good at trends. Did he eat there in the mornings? He ate there, didn't he?
Every morning he'd be at Kelfy's. And then when he got to where he couldn't drive, somebody drove him up there and he'd stay in the truck. He always had that dog.
J.T. Hahn. Yeah, that dog, I got in that car with him before, and that dog had hair everywhere.
That dog would eat you slap up.
Well, I took it some water one time, and that calmed him down, because Ben never would give it any water.
Ah.
Yeah, and he'd leave it in that hot car. And so I went in there one time, I took a little Tupperware thing of water, and the dog just drunk it up and liked me ever since.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, every time I walked by that car, that dog wanted to eat me alive.
That dog.
He went everywhere with that dog. That dog was his buddy.
You know, when I went down to his house or trailer he lived in,
That's crazy. The man was worth $100 million, and he lived in a trailer.
You know the only thing he had in his refrigerator? Cranberry juice.
Really?
I don't know why. He said, Dee, help you something, whatever you want to drink. And I went and opened it, and all it was cranberry juice. Crazy.
He wouldn't,
Do you ever go back to wonder about Ohio?
Do I go back?
Yeah, you ever go back? I mean, you've been gone since what, 86, you say?
89, I moved down here, but I've been back a few times. I miss Lake Erie and the family up there, but man, I like these Tennessee snows where you wake up in the morning, you got a heavy white frost. It's beautiful.
It's gone
at 10 o'clock.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's back up to 50. I'm back in my shorts. I ain't bundled up, freezing.
What was Lake Erie? What was that? Was that the Loch Ness Monster?
No, I don't know.
Where's the Loch Ness Monster from?
I don't know.
Isn't that Lake Erie?
It might be. I don't know.
Well, Lake Erie's known for something.
That big ship, there's several ships that sunk out there.
Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
That's that famous song, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. We're too young to know what that even was about.
But I remember reading on it. But, you know, Lake Erie was different because you would, the seas would just turn over in just a minute, 30 minutes. I mean, you go from 1 foot swells to 5 foot, and you ain't got a boat to handle it. You're in trouble.
What caused it to go up?
Just the weather, I guess. You know.
When you came to here, how old were you when you came here?
20.
Was it a culture shock or about the same?
It's about the same. I mean, anywhere you go is about the same. It's just the weather's different.
People was about the same?
A little more laid back, which I like.
Calm, not as
they don't get
fast-paced?
so hot-headed, you know. But it's a lot, very similar to Ohio.
Did you say you were on a dairy farm?
Mm-hmm.
Did you milk them every morning or what? By hand or machine?
No, machines. Yeah, you don't want, that's a job. We had Amish that worked and helped milk. And before it was over, we worked about 23 hours a day, 600 head of cattle a day on a pipeline. And my dad, Dad and my uncles had the farm, and they couldn't keep the workers there. You know, and if milk's got to happen, they don't matter 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They don't know birthdays and holidays and none of that. So we had Amish, but you'd have to go pick them up, bring them, take those back.
What was
they
it
don't
like
drive.
working with the Amish?
The old ones were very good craftsmen. They were nice. They were good workers. The younger generation, they're not as good as the old generation.
Well, were they hard workers like the older
Yeah.
generation? So they were no problem with work ethics.
Oh no, they would work. They would get up and milk their cows before they come milk our cows.
You have to pay them money?
Oh yeah.
Like
We had some of them lived in some trailers there, and they stayed at the farm. They couldn't own anything electric, but if you got an electric toaster in the trailer,
they could use it?
They could use it, but they couldn't own it.
I wonder why. Did you ever study on their religion any at all?
Not really.
But they're for God, though, right?
Oh yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a different take on
We
it.
had some down here at the shop. They like come in the shop and buy my mismeasured windows. I try not to have any, but
You mean here?
yeah.
Or where are they from? Up in
Up
Polk
in
County?
Etowah and Polk
Yeah,
County and Delano and Tellico and stuff. You know, they're building a community up in Tellico now. But we was in there talking one day about politics and stuff, and that older gentleman, he says, you know, we don't have a problem. I said, what do you mean? He says, all we do is trust in God, and we only deal in cash. We don't have the problems you have with politics.
I wonder how the IRS looks at that.
I don't know, but I'd
'Cause
like to know.
They're the ruler, aren't they?
It's unreal what the IRS gets and what they waste.
And what the fear is.
Yes.
I mean, you don't know. There's no open book to say, here's what I can deduct.
You can do your books and have the greatest CPAs, and if the IRS comes in, they will reword that or it's like an attorney. They read something out of something that really
like
don't.
a building inspector, it's their interpretation.
Yeah.
And it's hard to argue it or
Yeah.
appeal it.
And
There's
if you make them mad, they find more.
I got audited
Did you?
7 weeks.
How'd that go?
I ended up with a refund, $3,933 refund.
You're one of the probably the only person I ever heard of got a refund.
And she was thorough, buddy.
I try to be as
Sure,
True as you can,
Yeah,
but-
I didn't know what.
But I'm
you know,
telling you, some of the laws and some of the way things are done, it's tough. Business, isn't for everybody.
See, I wrote the cat food off. That cat that was on the back porch, I wrote that off, as an office expense because, I got the cat, it's here. So, so she came walking up, and I thought, well, she'll catch that cat food because it's quite a bit. He eats that fancy feast stuff.
Yeah.
You won't hardly eat nothing else. And it was laying on the bench like this in the sun. And I said, and this was the first meeting, she came walking up the back porch, and I said, if you see any charges for cat food, I said, that's for the cat, and it keeps the mice away from the office. And it was going, and she said, that's not funny. And so it didn't get off to a good start.
Right.
But, she didn't ever knock that off.
Really?
No.
Well, you got a point. I mean, it's pest control.
That's what I thought. That's what I was.
I mean, just
That was
that's
my
how you
argument.
word it, I guess.
Yeah, that was my argument. It was pest control.
After years of business, though, you just wonder what they would find if they come in.
Well, we just try to do it the right way we can, and I think
They change the rules so much, though. Without a good CPA, it's hard to keep up with.
I've had good CPAs, and they think about it different. I just think the main thing is to record everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you label it wrong, have it recorded.
It's
Even
true.
I even record personal expenses. It's not deductible, but I record them. At least so I've got a record. Now
Right.
they can tell me if I've classified it wrong or not. But I've recorded it. That's my approach, and that's when she left. She told the accountant. She said, "Mr. Burris keeps very good books." That was the only compliment she gave.
You do your own?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. It don't take long if you do it every day.
Well, yeah,
I had a
if
guy
you're
that
just doing jobs, it don't. But when you get into like mine, where you got wholesaling to the public and you're moving the amount of product and stuff
tax,
coming.
you probably got to pull a whole lot of taxes too, right?
Oh, yeah,
Sales
you got
tax.
sales tax, but
See,
you
I
got a
don't
lot of product coming in, a lot of product going out every day. I mean, it's, you know.
You do the best you can. That's all you can do.
That's all you try
That's
to
all
do.
you can do.
Yeah.
Do you think so you've not been rolling in this business since 2003 in this?
I took it over from James Satterfield. He was doing about 700,000 a year, and we're putting it close to about 7 million now.
Golly, that's
Just in-
$650,000 a month. Is that right?
No, we're probably about 400,000 a month in sales. 4 to 500,000.
You're writing checks for $400,000 a month, roughly.
Well, that's what our sales are.
So you're writing a check for what, 100,000?
Shoot, I wish you kept that much, you know. People-
375,000.
We're sitting there talking about them IRS men, and you know, people all the time come in and say, "Hey, if I pay you cash, we knock the taxes off." Man, you just don't have a markup league on. Back when Gail Thomas, you remember Gail?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Back when Gail was the only one in town, he had enough markup in it that if somebody paid him cash, he could take it because he had 30% markup.
And
But
he
you-
was probably so honest, he probably just went by the book still. He was just
Right,
giving a little discount.
But your markup now, you know, ain't but 9 to 12% to stay in the business
Well,
because
that-
of competition.
Well, you got overhead too, so you got to knock all that off. You're really not making but about 2%. If you really boiled it down, you're making
You're
about
turning
2%.
money. Yep, you're right. Yep. I made most of my money, I guess, off rentals though.
Rental business is the best business there is that I've found.
I think so.
And I don't go up on their rent, or I try not to. I try to keep it very minimal because with me, it's a partnership. I'm giving them a place to live, and they're helping me pay the bill.
My theory is, as long as you stay in my house, but your rent will never go up.
Well, I used to have that theory, but here lately, I've gotten so low that I'm trying to go up like $20 a year on the ones that have been there for like 5 years. And I think I'm still under the market. You know, you can say what they want to, but about $800 a month is the market
On what size house?
on the average, because that's all they can afford.
Right.
Because you figure that plus electric bills,
I
$1,000
don't
a
see how
month.
people survive now. I just don't.
Well, if we
But what's crazy is you can go to a restaurant and they're packed, or you go to Nashville and it's jam packed with people, or go anywhere, and people are still spending money, and I don't understand where it comes from.
I don't know who's paying them. When you look around at these businesses, who's paying them to spend it? You can't pay them. It's a mystery. It's almost
is.
like it's a joke and they hadn't let me in on it
Yeah. It's
because
different.
it doesn't add up.
No, No, it's
Boy, y'all get tired of eating out, don't you? Speaking of eating out,
in construction. I do. Yeah.
I eat about everywhere, don't you?
I don't. Yeah. I'm no.
I mean, I'm sick of eating out.
I hate fast food.
I hate fast food. I get to where my stomach can't take it like it used to.
I'd rather go out. Well, a lot of times for lunch, I stop back at my Calfee's and get me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a bologna sandwich.
Yep.
You know, because I don't want to go to the fast foods and.
They hurt my stomach more than they used to. I could eat it. I don't know if they've changed the food or if I've gotten older, but I just can't eat it like I used to. It's like getting
I don't think anything hurts.
a hamburger and fries. I'd just be sick in an hour.
Really?
Yeah,
I know several people are that way now, though.
So why don't you like to go to the fast food?
I just get sick of it. It all tastes the same.
I like Taco Bell pretty good.
No, I can't. I can't do Taco Bell. I'm not sure that's beef.
I'm
I
not
grew
sure
up on a
either.
farm. I don't believe that's beef.
But boy, you put some of that hot sauce on it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not.
You ever eat at Stacy's in Charleston?
Uh-uh.
Boy, it's good.
Stacy, where's that at?
It's at an old building across from the railroad track, and I'm telling you, they're packed.
Yes, I did eat there one time. It was when an older black feller
And
had
it was a barbecue place.
Yes,
When-
and me and my son stopped in there, and we ordered meatloaf.
Uh-huh.
And he brought us out. I swear to gosh, he brought the whole meatloaf out for each one of us. It was like that.
Yeah, it's good.
But I thought they closed down. I didn't
They
know
did.
that.
They've reopened.
I didn't know that.
They've reopened. And they're only open till 2 o'clock.
So I eat my breakfast and I eat a real light lunch because in the heat and running wide
Oh, I
open,
know it.
I eat a big old lunch. I'd be like
That's the way I
Hispanics. I
am.
want to take a nap.
Yeah. You know, they've got the right idea
Yeah,
about
they
taking
do.
a nap. I mean,
You feel like a new man after
and they'll
that.
work. They'll be working till 7.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're wasting time. Well, what would we do without them? Do you use a lot of them?
You got to. In the new construction field, it's about all it is.
And I'd rather use them.
Yeah. They
I'd
work
rather-
and they don't complain.
They don't. All they want to do is go to church on Sunday and go out with their family on Saturday night. That's all they want.
Yep.
And they just
A lot
want
of
to
my
work.
renters are Hispanics.
Oh yeah, they're no
They're
problem.
great people.
No great people.
I like them. We run them on new construction quite often.
One of the thing is, it's hard to manage them because
Well, I got a translator.
I do too. But you can't have 3 translators. And another thing, if they're not real busy, they will start talking,
Oh yeah.
and then you get a little chaos going on. So if you have somebody there that can keep directing them, it's great.
Right.
But when you get a little lull, they'll check their phones and start talking. Then I can't anyway. But I'd rather have them as what I'd
Well,
rather
I
have
mean, we
them
have to. I mean, they work. They work well.
I really like them. What about if you had to be in another business? What would it be?
Well, I'm in so many of them now. I'm trying to get out of some of them. I got that Southern Charm venue too.
Yeah, tell me about that. I forgot about that.
I had. It's right behind my house, and it was
Is your house in where?
off of Menace Road.
So you're in the subdivision?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kent Berry subdivision.
Yeah. And they was going to build some apartments back there, and I called Ken up and I said, Ken, I don't want apartments back there. Can I buy that from you? And I bought that from him, and I held it for 3 or 4 years, and then finally I decided to build that wedding venue, and it's been good.
You were like the first venue place in Cleveland, wasn't it?
In Cleveland, yeah.
I like how you've left the parking lot gravel. It's more comfortable to me
Yeah.
because you're all out.
Yeah. It's more rustic. I tried to keep that rustic.
Yeah.
A lot of people tried to talk me into paving it, but I was like,
I just
no.
say my driveway out here is gravel. I like gravel.
No, that venue's been good. The venue was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I tell people it's like a circus. You set up for 3 hours, and then people come in for 3 hours, and you tear it down for 3 hours.
Do you have provisions to set it up for them, or what's your role?
My role is I've stepped back out of that. Pam Green?
Yeah, I know her.
She
well.
manages it for me.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she
Well,
runs it.
you can mark it off. She'll take care of it.
Yeah. She runs it, does a good
She worked
job.
at the Banner for years.
And she
Tell her-
keeps it
tell her
booked.
Dee
We
says,
got
hey.
three or four events a week over there.
Tell her Dee says, hey.
We'll do it. But she keeps it full. I mean, it's amazing. But, I think it does so well because it's so centrally located,
Yeah,
easy
it's
to
not
get
too
to.
far out.
Right. I've got some friends that got some in Polk County and different places, and they don't do as well. That thing was built to do what it does.
So you may have the home builders in there one week and a wedding the next.
We'll have the home builders in there on Wednesday, and we might have somebody in there on Thursday, and then we'll have a 2-day Friday, Saturday wedding, and then back to a birthday party on Sunday.
Who cleans it up?
Me, Pam, and a little Hispanic guy.
Are the people that rent it supposed to clean it?
We put the tables out, and the chairs come out on racks, and then you set your tables where you want them and all that kind of stuff. Now, we do have an option that if they want to rent linens, Pam will rent them linens, and she'll do the tables.
And that's more or less just washing cost, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Renting the linens because there's no.
I mean, you can make a little, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But it's easier than going. You rent them from Bradley Rental or somewhere else, and you got to go get them and take them back and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
So you've got them there.
I've got linens available there. Now, we tried to cater and game some, but it's just too much work. You can only do so much. And with, Cleveland exteriors and the rental and the RV boat storage and stuff, you can't keep up with everything. So I've kind of just let Pam run that show, and I go over there and help do the maintenance and stuff like that, and she kind of runs the rest of it.
So how often will it be rented in a week?
3 to 4 times.
3 to 4 days?
I think we just come off 4 this week.
What does it cost to rent it for a day?
It all depends what you're using it for. If you're going to use, you got your ballroom, and then you got a bride and groom's room upstairs, and then you got the courtyard in the back. Depending, you're using the whole thing, and you're going to do a Saturday wedding, you're looking at about $3,900. If you do a Friday, Saturday, we'll let you have Friday night for like $600. Just to come in there for like 5 hours to do a rehearsal and setup. Because I tell people that you need to rent Friday if you're going to do Saturday, so you can set up and you can enjoy your wedding. You don't know how many brides come in there and they try to run the whole show, and then they wake up on Sunday morning and say, "Wow, I got married and I don't even remember it because I was too busy."
Because they're busy setting it up on Saturday morning.
Right.
You ever had it double booked and didn't know it?
One time.
Well, what was that like?
A disaster.
I bet it was a disaster.
But it worked out. I forget how it worked out, though. I don't remember if they changed the date or if we worked with Coffee Barn and swapped it, but Coffee Barn had one too, and we ended up, helping them out. And we don't try. That's one thing you don't want to do right there.
You don't want to do that.
And
So it was a disaster.
but it wasn't really. I mean, nothing's a disaster to me. If there's a problem, there's an answer. You just got to know the answer is and go on. If you sit and you can make it a disaster out of it, but
What about what is a Coffee Barn? I've seen that sign, but
they're a smaller venue. They got an outdoor.
Okay.
They got an old barn. They
it's not
retrofitted.
It's not a coffee shop. You'd think it was a
No,
coffee shop the way
It's
their
the
sign
coffees
looked.
own it, and they just took
it's
an
not
old barn.
coffee. God, no wonder I'm confused.
Yeah, they took an old barn and retrofitted it. And that's what a lot of your guys do. They take these old barns and they retrofit them, think they're gonna, keep up with these big time venues, and they can't.
It's all in the management. I don't think it has anything to do with the venue. I mean, maybe that's the
It does,
prerequisite.
because if you go to a place and it ain't got air and you're sitting there sweating.
Yeah, but past that, it's the management.
Yeah, and the elegance of it. Have you been in Southern
Yeah,
Charm?
I've been there.
I mean,
4
when
or
you
5
walk
times.
in, it's pretty and
It's
elegant,
it's
but
really
it's rustic.
nice. It's rustic elegance. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
but
classifying.
now you got some out there in Georgetown at the Howell Farms now. I mean, of course they used to own Benchmark and they sold it for $umpteen billion or $1 million, and that's their pastime now. He actually built the first one.
What's his name?
How?
I think I built one of him before he got big. If I'd known that, I'd been nicer to him. What was
No,
his
he
name?
built the first barn to house his cars in because he had a car collection and somebody wanted to get married in it. So he figured out that this was his wife thought it was pretty cool. And now I think they got 7 venues out there on that farm.
Why don't people just use their church?
Church weddings are going out. Now, this one yesterday, they got married at Lee and then had a reception at our place.
Where else would you have a reception, right?
Well, that kind of leads us back to how I come about building that venue. Back when before I moved down here, my dad moved here in '86 and I didn't move till '89. Well, I stayed in Ohio with my best friend in an apartment. Well, on Saturdays, you'd read the newspaper and it was all Greeks and Italians up there. When they got married, they always had big hoedowns.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have some food and, they'd say so-and-so is getting married on, at this church, and then the reception follow at the Grotto Hall or the AmVets or whatever, and all is welcome. Well, me and my best friend, we used to go there on Saturday nights and crash all them weddings because they would have all the alcohol you wanted to drink, and they'd always great food. And they'd all have live bands and back then it was 600-700 people show up to them weddings, them receptions,
Yeah.
And you'd always, it was like paradise, women, alcohol, and food. What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of got into wanting to do a wedding
It's a little
thing.
different here, right?
Yeah. They don't have the weddings before COVID are different than the weddings after COVID too.
Not as many people, I guess. COVID messed up the funeral business too, didn't it? People just don't go anymore like they used to.
And we're doing more and more celebrations of life there.
Yeah, that's a big thing now.
We got one coming up for Doug Blackwell.
Oh, Doug died?
Doug Blackwell did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, his celebration of life's here in a couple weeks. We've had, I don't know, probably a dozen of them now.
Is his cord making a noise, Glenn? So, what happened to Doug?
Don't really know. Never heard.
I saw it on Facebook.
Christy contacted us about wanting to rent the venue to do a celebration of life. And, Doug done some attorney work for me. We were, knew him. So I told him to just use it. I'm not going to charge him. It's just different, but it's the way it should be, though. You should celebrate life, not mourn it.
Yeah, that's the difference. Now, back then they would mourn it, and now we're celebrating it. I guess that's a California thing, probably.
I don't know. No. California's a whole different breed. Don't get me going on them. No, that's...
What do you do? What would you say your hobby is? You just work all the time, evidently.
Work most of the time. If I do anything, I hog hunt. I like hog hunting.
Why hogs?
I like to hear my hounds running through the woods and baying. And
Do those dogs, how you know they're not chasing a coon? Are they trained? They're trained?
Yeah. We go down to South Georgia quite a bit. We'll go to South Georgia, kill 20, 30 of them in a weekend.
Was there many wild hogs here?
Yeah. They're polluted with them.
How far would I have to go to find a wild hog?
From here?
Yeah, from right here.
You know where Mike Brown's farm is? You know Charleston? Mm-hmm. Charleston's polluted with them. All up and down that river.
Well, I've never seen them.
Yeah, I've had a lot. I've had a couple good dogs.
So like
killed
a Hiwassee River?
Yeah, it's polluted with them.
Where do they, why don't we ever see one on the road dead or anything?
There was one killed on top of White Oak Mountain this last week.
I've never seen any around Hiwassee. I mean, do they have tusk?
Mm-hmm. I got them mounted in my office. I killed one up in the mountains up here, had 2 3/4 inch cutters on it.
But like this?
They're closer to that. But But yeah, I mean, our dogs, they bay them up. We don't have any catch dogs. Most of ours just bay them up and we go to the bangs, and most of the time it's
Just shoot them?
knife. Catch them and knife them.
You don't shoot them?
We do if we see them running, but we try to catch them and knife them.
Why not just shoot it?
Because you don't want to shoot next to your dog. When you go to a band, these dogs they're like surrounding that hog, but when they see you, they feel the comfort to attack that hog. And if you try to shoot that hog, sometimes them dogs can jump in there. You don't want to do that. So you just work that hog until you get the back of it, grab its back legs, and you can walk it out of the woods. I don't care if it's 300 pounds, you can walk that hog. Just grab his back legs and walk him out. But you just grab back legs, flip them, stick a knife in them.
God,
I've taken Pam down South Georgia. She sticks them.
I couldn't do that.
It's an adrenaline rush.
But I can't imagine, where do they sleep in the woods? Next to trees or what? Or in the brush?
Hogs?
Yeah. Where
They
they sleep?
destroy the farm crops all over.
Where they normally sleep?
Wherever they get their belly full of that, they're like a bear.
They
A bear
go-
won't be 50 yards from where he just fed at.
Well, how would they go? They go in packs, like 2 or 3 of them together.
Sometimes you'll get a pack of them, sometimes you get a single. Sometimes you'll be running a big one and a little one comes out. It's like the big ones know to run into the sonder of small ones, and then the dogs get all confused and they go 9 different directions, and then you got a nightmare. We got GPS collars on them so we can track them for miles.
So so you're saying around here, as close to up by the Charleston River, there's wild hogs.
Yes, there's wild hogs on Benton Pike by Jackie Evans' farm. They're all on Chestatee Road.
I saw one on.
There was a pack of hogs on Facebook right there on McClanahan Road, right at McClanahan Road and Bates Pike a year ago.
I saw one. I was riding bikes out through there, and the guy I was with said, "Look at that wild hog." I can't remember the name of it, that road that we was on, and but it was right there in close to Chestatee and all that, and it just came up like a pet. I thought it was somebody's pet. Was that a wild hog or was that a pet? I mean, it didn't run from me or nothing. It came up like a
Most
dog
wild
would.
hogs will get out of there,
So this must have been a pet.
I'd say.
What's the difference between a wild hog and a pig?
It only takes about 9 months to a year, and a domestic pig will turn wild. Their nose will start growing because they start rooting and stuff, and that's how they get the longer faces and stuff. But I mean, a hog and a pig, I guess, size, I guess.
So do all pigs turn into hogs? Wild hogs?
If they're left in the wild, they will.
So a wild hog is just a pig that's left in the wild.
Most years, you got Russian boar that was brought into the North Carolina area to that big game reserve back in the 1800s, and he cut his fences and stuff. When he died, they cut his fences. That's
Why
how
did he bring them in?
It's like people that own Biltmore. They had their own hunting preserve.
So he brought them in just to hunt.
For his own hunting pleasures.
And so he died.
When he died, the fences and stuff got cut or whatever, and that's how back then you had elk and you had bear and you had a lot of that different stuff.
So the wild hogs that we see today, are those Russian hogs?
The ones in the mountains will have some Russian in them. A lot of your ones in Georgia are feral hogs. See, the old timers didn't have money for fences, so they would just turn their hogs out. Then at a certain time of the year, they'd go out and they'd, get some hogs and slaughter them and put them in salt blocks.
So the hogs that are maybe up around Charleston, are they Russian or just?
A lot of you, they got some Russian in them, but there's still a lot of feral hogs around here.
What do you mean by feral? Just
They're domesticated hogs that just got free and turned loose, or just over time. They're not true black Russian.
What will they hurt?
They will devastate the land. They will till, down there in Georgia, like, they'll put 20, say they put 100 acres of peanuts in the ground and come back next morning, 20 acres of it's gone. So then they got to replant it all. You go up here in Charleston, and they'll go through them, hogs will go through there and just tear up the ground.
Like a
They're almost like a tiller.
a cornfield or something. They'll just
they'll get in the center of that cornfield and eat the whole center out of it. You go to picking it and you ain't got no corn left.
Are they dangerous if you run across one?
If you corner them, if you corner them, they'll come after you.
How they protect themselves against other predators?
Them tusks. They really have any predators. The coyotes don't bother them much.
Wonder why. Why they
Well,
gonna do it?
it's like fawns. The coyotes kill some fawns, but a lot of your younger animals don't have any scent. So that's how God protected them.
I see, yeah.
And time that them pigs get big enough to start having scent, they're big enough to defend themselves. They'll use them cutters and cut the fire out of stuff.
Boy, the animal kingdom is a whole nother thing, isn't it?
It
And
is.
here we're driving around like they're not even here.
I went to Africa a couple of years ago, and you can see that whole chain of
So
how
they're
everything feeds on different levels.
it's cruel. Boy, nature is cruel, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
Biggest thing we have to worry about around here, I guess, is snakes, right? Or pit bulls.
I think people.
I guess that's it. People.
Really, people destroy themselves more than any of the animals do. If you leave an animal alone, it'll leave you alone, other than a copperhead. They just got an attitude of.
Now, if you go up into Polk County mountains like Sugarloaf Mountain, will you see wild hogs?
Oh, yes.
They're everywhere, I guess, right?
Yes. All up
What
and
are they
down
eating?
Cookson Creek.
What do they eat?
Grubs, roots, they eat everything.
So if a coyote sees them, they're not going to start. All you're going to hear is
Coyote's not going to kill a hog, but a hog will eat. If there's a dead animal, a hog will eat a dead animal. They just eat anything.
That's where they get to saying, you eat like a pig. You eat anything.
I don't know. If you get anybody you don't like, there's places up in Polk County, drop them.
Now, a regular house dog, it'll bark at a pig, right?
Yeah, and the pig will probably leave it alone and just wander off. It's when you back it, See, when we send our dogs in, them dogs will nip at its tail or butt to where it gets tired and frustrated, and it'll back itself up into like a bush or something, usually heavy cover. And the dogs will surround that and hold them there until we get there. And that's the only reason, we use the dogs. Now, we've been starting to use night vision in Georgia. I got a thermal drone. I can go up in the sky, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool in Cleveland,
It's almost
too.
not fair to the animal, I guess, isn't it?
Well, down in Georgia, I asked the game warden, he's friends of ours down there, and I asked him, I said, this night vision, does it not affect you guys for the, people shooting deer and stuff? He says, their freezer will get full. We got a problem. We got to kill these hogs. And I talked to a state trooper down there one time about the hogs. I was telling him, we actually got pulled over for speeding. He says, what are you doing? I said, we're trying to kill some hogs. And he let me off because of that. He said, you would not realize how many cars are totaled and people get killed by hitting. It ain't like you hit a deer. When you hit a hog, typically down there, you'll hit a pack of them. You might hit 3 or 4, and they're so low to the ground, your car goes airborne, flips, and you're dead.
Whereas the deer will go over
Right.
a little bit.
So, the hogs are a problem, real problem. Kind of like the iguanas down in,
Yeah, there for a while.
Miami and stuff. It's just, if you get overrun with something, it's not good. But they don't really have a predator to keep them under control.
I guess not. I guess there's nothing.
Uh-uh.
Do we have any black wolf or red wolf? Let's see.
There's no wolves in Tennessee. We got coyotes, gray fox, a few red fox.
I've seen a few red fox. They don't seem like they're any danger to
They
anybody.
go after mice.
I'll just see them go. If
They
you
need
see,
to turn some loose over there in Oldfield area and get rid of some of them cats.
which is meaner, a fox or a coyote? Which would be worse?
Coyote.
Some people say coyotes are not a problem.
Coyotes are a big problem on the deer and the rabbits and the stuff like that.
What was that
Cats,
cartoon?
household dogs.
What was that cartoon about the coyote and
Roadrunner.
yeah, Roadrunner?
Yeah.
Was
We
that
can't watch
coyote?
that. That's cruelty now.
Was that coyote? What was coyote? He'd always get a package from Acme.
Yeah. Blow himself up.
You remember those two guys those two animals that would? I think it was a sheepdog and
Yeah.
one of them
They'd clock out.
They'd clock out. Yeah.
They'd clock
What was the
out.
name
See
of
you
that?
tomorrow.
What was that? He said, "See you tomorrow, Fred." Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
What was the name of that one?
I don't remember.
You can't find those for nothing now, can you? But that was different than the sheepdog. You know, the sheepdog had a tooth like that or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that was different. This was, I don't know.
They if you take your farmers around here though, they either got a lot of them got donkeys in the fields because it'll protect them calves from the coyotes.
They say a coyote won't go around a donkey because a donkey will stomp it or something.
Yeah. Donkey, if you get a dog in a field with a donkey, that donkey's going to go berserk on it.
And
why is that?
I don't know. They say a donkey has real big feet. I guess they're just strong feet.
I don't know.
But why it would go after a coyote and not a house dog, I have no idea. But that's what I've heard. Now, some people will argue that red wolves are still here.
They put them up in Gatlinburg and they took them all back out. I think they all died but one or two and they picked them back out.
But I read an internet site that said that they argued that they were still here. So I don't know.
I haven't seen them.
But what would be the difference between a red wolf and a wolf?
Probably the size. I don't really know.
And then, so you got
The wolves were bigger. They could kill a coyote.
I think a red wolf was a wolf that interbred with a fox, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know that.
Or maybe it was interbred with a coyote. I read up on it one time because I got in an argument with a guy over it. But a fox, you won't see it like a coyote. I saw a coyote up there at Bradley Square Mall when I left here one night. It was walking through because it was real
They're
long.
all over in town.
I don't think they're as dangerous as people say.
They're not going to hurt people, but they kill a lot of cats and house dogs. A lot more than you think they do.
But a fox won't. A red fox is just...
A red fox kill a cat, but he won't kill a house dog.
A red fox is real little, right?
They're a lot smaller than you think they are, yeah.
Wonder if we have more red foxes here. Wonder if we have more foxes here or coyotes.
Coyotes. I'm pretty sure of that. If you go up Dry Valley Road, you can see coyotes about every night up through there.
What about, is there an animal around here besides the red wolf that's gone extinct?
I don't know.
I don't know of one, do you? That was here before?
Mm-mm. I know the elk were gone for a long time, and they put them back in up there in Royal Blue and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But you see people on the internet all the time petting a cat. Not like that raccoon that was here. I'd have to tell him to move to get off to leave the back porch.
And raccoon can be mean too.
Yeah, it was nice to the cats. It didn't ever bother them.
Because you fed him.
I fed it. He'd feed the. They always wash their food, you know.
Yep. Uh-huh.
But I would just wonder if there's an animal that's used to be around here that's not here anymore. That's gone extinct. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of. I've got it on the tip of my brain. I can't think of what it is. But I don't know, but nature is really something when you get studying all. What possessed you to want to chase a hog?
Just got up there and started hunting with some friends of mine, and
So it wasn't like you wanted to be a hunter or a coon hunter or a possum
I've
hunter?
always hunted coon and deer, and I like coon hunting because I love to hear the dogs run. Or rabbit hunt, I like to hear the dogs run. And when you get up there and start chasing the hog or the bear, it's a bigger animal. It's more adrenaline.
Yeah.
And if you ever get to go to a baying, it's like a rock concert to a hunter. It's something else. You get to see them dogs work, and it's like a pheasant hunter. I mean, if he's got a good bird dog, he likes to see his dog work. It ain't about shooting the animal. It's about watching that dog.
But they ended up shooting the animal.
Right. Well, that's why some of the dog hunters, the dog guys, ain't too keen on the thermals.
Yeah.
But
Takes the sport out, maybe.
it does. But when you have a problem, like they do in South Georgia, the thermals need to be there to help control it.
Did you ever watch Where the Red Fern Grows?
Uh-uh.
You ever seen Where the Red Fern Grows? Oh, that's a famous movie about a guy that had 2 coon dogs, and they died, and he buried them, and a red fern grew in the middle, and they say wherever a red fern grows between 2 graves, you got to watch that movie if you've ever hunted at all.
Really?
Where the red fern, have you seen it, Honey Gwen? Everybody's seen that movie.
I have. I don't watch TV.
Oh, it's one of the greatest movies ever. Where the Red Fern Grows.
I have to watch that.
If you're a crier, you'll cry at the end.
I hope not. No, I like to hear the dogs run.
I remember when I was just started driving, and my friends, coon hunted. They had land and everything else, and I didn't have nothing. All I had was that red truck that I drove, and I went to a gas station. Oddly enough, it was over on Wildwood, across from that Mexican store they got there that doesn't sell gas. Mm-hmm. And I bought a coon hunting light from the guy that was a mechanic there, and I didn't have a dog or a place to hunt or nothing, but I was going to start coon hunting. Isn't that stupid what you do? That was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I'd keep the battery charged, and I didn't even have nowhere. I didn't even know how to hunt.
I used to like to hunt at night, but I don't anymore.
Yeah.
Night hunting's different now.
What do you normally do on Sunday nights?
I usually try to quit work by 2 o'clock on Sunday and relax.
What do you
Otherwise,
do?
you just end up, days just run together.
I know it. That's the way I have been lately. It's like one long day. What do you do? What do you watch a movie or what?
Pillow around the house or watch some sports.
No movies?
I'm just not a movie buff. I'm not a fan of movies. I rather watch sports.
I'd rather watch a movie.
Well, I don't have good hearing. So when you watch a movie and the voices go up, voices go down, you catch half the movie, you got to make up the rest of the half.
That's right.
You know, and you just don't get as much out of the movie. And I think I lost my hearing because of the working in the factories.
Probably so.
You know.
Are you looking for more business or what?
You're always looking for more business.
You want to tell the people watching how to get a hold of you and where you're
They
at?
call us at Cleveland Aluminum Exteriors at 472-0400. And we do everything on exterior of homes, windows, siding, roofing, gutters, patio covers, screen rooms, sunrooms.
Storm doors?
We still do storm doors, but there's not a lot of storm doors going on anymore. That's like storm windows. They're not a big thing anymore.
I'm going to say that this show's going to sell you 50 storm doors.
Well, I hope so. Well, you know what a darn storm door costs now?
$250?
Some of them are well up into $1,500, and the average one's
Golly.
probably $850, $900 now.
What's that old saying? That's as useless as a storm door in the summertime or something like that? Screen door in the summertime.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about a screen door.
Now, a screen door is about $400 now.
Yeah.
But, you just don't sell many just screen doors. You sell screen rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But, storm doors, they're just kind of gone away. Now we got vinyl windows. Nobody buys storm windows.
What people need to do is these gazebos they got in their backyard, they need to screen them.
Screen them or glass them. See, I would rather have a glass room. You put a screen room up in the south, and the pollen comes in, it works like a snow fence. It comes in, and the thing is constantly dirty. I put a screen room up at my house when I built it. 2 years later, I tore it out and put a glass room in. If I'm in my glass room and I want to have a screen room, I just open my windows. My room's clean. If when I leave, I shut my windows. I come back 3 days later, it's still clean. If I have a screen room, every time you come out there, you've got to clean the frickin' seats and tables off because they're covered with pollen. So I like a glass room better than a screen room. But there's quite a bit of cost difference.
Either way, call Cleveland
Yep.
Exteriors.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you coming.
Yep.